Indian government released draft Digital Personal Data Protection Bill. Data breach can now attract a fine of up to Rs 500 crore. The bill may be introduced in the next session. Supreme Court Not to Collegium System Review Petition. There was also a demand to revive NJAC. The case was dismissed in 2015. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated Kashi Tamil Sangamam. It is being organized in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. Its purpose is to strengthen cultural ties. Vikram-S rocket launched. It was built by Skyroot Aerospace Private Company. Entry of private sector in the space program. And Australian Parliament approves free trade agreement with India. The aim is to promote bilateral trade. Target is to increase bilateral trade of $45 billion in 5 years. Recently, the central government has released a draft of the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill. The draft bill emphasizes important things related to data protection. It aims to protect digital personal data. The draft bill also allows the transfer of data outside India. The draft bill also provides for penalties for the data breach. The government may introduce this draft bill in the next session of the Parliament. Significantly, the government had introduced the Data Protection Bill earlier also, but the government had withdrawn it due to the objections raised by major IT companies. The new draft bill provides that if companies steal data or violate the proposed provisions, they can be fined up to 500 crore rupees. Thus, the bill provides for stringent financial penalties. The new draft bill also provides for setting up an Indian Data Protection Board. This board will be an independent body and it will act as digital regulator. It will also have the right to fix the quantum of penalty. According to the new draft bill, the centre will notify the areas where the data of Indians can be transferred. The criteria for the selection of such areas will be based on the data protection scenario. These would be areas where the government can access the data of Indians if the need to do so arises. Notably, the term data has been defined in the new draft bill. As per the definition, data means information, facts, concepts, ideas or instruction, etc. presented by a person or by automated means. Generally, the term data is used for messages, social media posts, online transfer and search history, etc. Data is technically defined as any set of information that can be easily read by a computer. This information can be in the form of documents, pictures, audio clips, software programs, or any other format. Recently, a petition has been filed in the Supreme Court against the decision of the Constitution Bench of 2015. The petition sought to reconsider the collegium system. The petition also demands to revive NJAC, that is, National Judicial Appointments Commission. The Chief Justice of India has consented to list this petition. It is noteworthy that a few days ago, Union Law and Justice Minister Kiran Rijiju also made verbal comments on this matter. Rijiju stated that the collegium system is not transparent. According to him, in the judiciary, a person of merit should be appointed as a judge and not someone who is known to the collegium. The basic flaw in the present collegium system is that judges are recommending their colleagues whom they know. Notably, the collegium is the system of appointments and transfer of judges. The collegium of the Supreme Court is a 5-member body. It is headed by the CJI. Apart from the CJI, 4 other senior-most judges of the Supreme Court are members of the collegium. On the other hand, the High Court Collegium consists of the Chief Justice of High Court and 2 other senior-most judges of the court. Significantly, the collegium has neither been mentioned in the Constitution nor has it been established by any act of the Parliament. It is a system developed through a series of Supreme Court judgments. These judgments were given in first judge's case, second judge's case, and third judge's case. These cases are collectively known as the 3 judges case. According to Article 124 of the Constitution of India, the judges of the Supreme Court are appointed by the President. The President should make this appointment after consultation with such judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court as he or she deems necessary. Whereas in case of appointment of a judge other than the Chief Justice, the CGI will always be consulted. Significantly, the 99th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed by the Parliament in 2014. Along with this, the National Judicial Appointments Commission Act of 2014 was also passed. It aimed to bring changes in the appointment system of judges in the Supreme Court and High Courts. Under these acts, the National Judicial Appointments Commission was to be established in place of the existing collegium system. But both these acts were declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in 2015. Recently, the Supreme Court reprimanded the central government regarding the tenure of the Chief Election Commissioners. The court expressed displeasure over his short tenure. In fact, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court in this regard. In this petition, the petitioner had sought a collegium-like system for the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner. While hearing the matter, the Apex Court said that the Constitution has made a provision for the selection of the Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners, but there is no clear provision regarding the process of their appointment. In such a situation, governments misuse the silence of the Constitution to serve their interests. The top court also argued that the government should have considered making a law on this after independence, but to this date, this has not been done. This is the reason that since 2004, no Chief Election Commissioner has been able to complete a 6-year term. 6 Chief Election Commissioners were appointed during the tenure of the UPA government. At the same time, during the tenure of NDA from 2014 till date, 8 Chief Election Commissioners have been appointed. A 5-judge constitutional bench headed by Justice K.M. Joseph termed it as a wrong practice. Let us tell you that according to Article 324 Clause 2 of Part 15 of the Constitution, the Election Commission will consist of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners who have been appointed by the President from time to time. Also, the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners shall be made by the President subject to the provisions of any law made by the Parliament. Further, as per Article 324 Clause 5, the Parliament has been empowered to regulate the terms of the conditions of service of the election commissioners and the regional commissioners. In this process, the Election Commission, Conditions of Service of Election Commissioners and Transaction of Business Act 1991 was passed by the government. Its purpose was to determine the post, service, conditions, salary, etc. of the Chief Election Commissioners and other election commissioners. Section 4 of the Act fixes the tenure of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners at 6 years or till the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Recently, the Kashi Tamil Sangamam has been inaugurated by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This Sangamam is being organized in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. It aims to strengthen and revive the cultural and civilizational ties between Tamil Nadu and Varanasi. This Samagamam will last for a month. This month-long period would roughly correspond to the Tamil month of Kartike. During Kartike, Tamilians go to Varanasi to pray to Lord Shiva. Around 2,500 to 3,000 people from the southern parts of India will travel to Varanasi during this Sangamam. Students, artisans, literateurs, businessmen, people related to art and spirituality, etc. will participate in this Sangamam. Significantly, this Sangamam is being organized by the Government of India as a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Sangamam upholds the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat. Actually, this effort of Sangamam is in line with the National Education Policy 2020. The policy emphasizes integrating the Indian knowledge system with modern systems. Notably, the ties between Kashi and Tamil region are considered very deep and old. According to a legend, Maharishi Agastya went towards South India on the order of Lord Shiva. He built his ashram in Tirupati, Tamil Nadu. The Sangam civilization was established by him in South India, hence he is also called the father of Tamil language. According to another such legend, King Parakrama Pandya ruled the region around Madurai. He wanted to build a temple for Lord Shiva. For this purpose, he had travelled to Kashi to bring a shivling. While returning from Kashi, Parakram Pandya rested under a tree. When he tried to restart his journey, the cow carrying the shivling refused to move. Parakram Pandya considered it as the will of God and installed the shivling in that place itself. The place is known as Shivakashi. In this way, the Pandya rulers built the Kashi Vishwanathar temple for the devotees who could not travel to Kashi. At present, this temple is located in Tenkasi in southwestern Tamil Nadu. Recently, the Geographical Indications Registry, based in Chennai, received an application. In this, the Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar sought a GI tag, that is, Geographical Indication for Nicobari Hodi Craft. This application has been made by the Tribal Development Council of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This is the first time that the Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar has sought a GI tag for its products. Actually, Hodi is a traditional craft of the Nicobari tribe. It is an outrigger canoe which is commonly used by the Nicobar people to make canoes. The people here have inherited the skill of making Hodi from their forefathers. To make this, the people here use trees found locally or on nearby islands. Even at the level of design, there is a difference from one island to another. The people of Andaman use Hodi to carry goods from one place to another, including transportation. Apart from this, it is also used for the purpose of fishing and racing. Here, Hodi race is organized between islands and villages. GI tag is used like a trademark. This tag is an indicator of the quality and uniqueness of an item or product originating in a specific geographical area. The registration of geographical indications in India is regulated by the Geographical Indications of Goods, Registration and Protection Act of 1999. The headquarters of the Geographical Indications Registry is located in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. The GI tag, once obtained, is valid only for a period of 10 years. Later, it is necessary to renew it, according to experts. So far, the Geographical Indications Registry has received more than 1,000 applications. Out of them, more than 400 products have been given GI tags. Recently, the Vikram-S rocket has been launched. It has been launched from ISRO's Satish Dhawan Space Center in Andhra Pradesh. This mission has been named Prarambh. It is India's first privately developed rocket. It has been developed by Hyderabad-based Skyroot Aerospace Private Limited. The mission aims to showcase the company's capabilities. The mission also aims to test the technology requirement for Vikram-1. The company is planning to launch Vikram-1 by next year. Significantly, Skyroot Aerospace is the first Indian startup to tie up with ISRO. Notably, Vikram-S is a single-stage fuel rocket. It is named in the honor of Vikram Sarabhai. Vikram Sarabhai is known as the father of the Indian space program. Vikram-S rocket is about 6 meters tall. It has been launched at an altitude of about 81 kilometers. It is a suborbital launch vehicle. It means that it has been launched into outer space. It had a total of 3 payloads, including 2 Indian and 1 foreign payload. The participation payloads were from Chennai-based startup Space Kids, Andhra Pradesh-based N-Space Tech, and Armenian Bazunk Space Research Lab. Significantly, the Government of India opened the space sector for private industry participation in 2020. Skyroot Aerospace is the first Indian private company to launch a rocket after the government opened up the space sector in 2020. Recently, ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, conducted IMAT, that is Integrated Main Parachute Airdrop Test. The test has been conducted by ISRO with the help of DRDO, the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army. This test has been conducted from the Babina Field Fire Range located in Jhansi, Uttar Pradesh. The strength and capability of the parachute have been tested in the test. A dummy module weighing 5 tons was landed on the ground with the help of a parachute involved in this test. The weight of the dummy module was also kept the same as that of the crew module of Gaganyaan. Its purpose is to solve the problems faced by the crew module landing of Gaganyaan in the future. Actually, 3 parachutes will play a pivotal role in Gaganyaan. These parachutes will help bring down the speed of the crew module to a safe level during landing. This test was an attempt to determine if one parachute fails, will the other parachute be able to land the crew module properly or not? Notably, Gaganyaan is a project of ISRO, which is expected to be launched in 2023. Gaganyaan is India's first such space mission in which astronauts will be sent to space. Thus, it is being developed to demonstrate India's human space flight capability. Under Gaganyaan, 3 space missions will be sent to space. Out of this, 2 will be unmanned, while 1 will be a manned mission. In the manned mission, a team of 3 Indian astronauts will be sent to space. This team will be sent to LEO, that is Low Earth Orbit. Recently, the meeting of COP27, which was going on for many days, came to an end. On the last day of the meeting, there was news of relief for the developing countries. The Loss and Damage Funding Fund was agreed upon on the last day. Its purpose is to provide financial facilities to vulnerable countries affected by climate disasters. In COP28, it has been said to set up a transitional committee to make recommendations regarding the new funding system and rules related to the fund. According to experts, the first meeting of this committee is expected to be held at the end of March 2023. Significantly, many developing countries have been demanding climate finance for decades, but developed countries have been opposing it, saying that it is difficult to define and measure the damage caused by climate change. Basically, the loss and damage fund is compensation given to developing and poor countries. Since developed countries are considered to be majorly responsible for industrial emissions causing environmental pollution, therefore, there is a demand for the developed countries to pay the poorer countries, which contributes less to environmental pollution. Due to the activities of developed countries, these poor countries have become more vulnerable to extreme climate change. Recently, the Australian Parliament approved the India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement. After this approval, India and Australia will now be able to implement it on a mutually agreed date. Under the agreement, both countries will provide duty exemption on exports to each other. Under the agreement, there will be zero duty on the export of most goods and services. In this way, there will be zero duty on about 96% of India's exports to Australia, while around 85% of Australia's exports will get zero duty access to Indian market. According to an estimate, the bilateral trade of goods and services between India and Australia was $27.5 billion in 2021. Under the agreement, the bilateral trade between India and Australia is targeted to increase to $45 to $50 billion in the next 5 years. After this agreement, 1 million jobs are also likely to be created in India. If the government is to be believed, the exports of Indian goods and services to Australia could increase by $20 billion by 2027 due to the agreement. At the same time, the exports of Indian goods and services to Australia is expected to reach $35 billion by 2035. Under the agreement, India has kept Australian wine, almonds, pulses, oranges, tangerines, pears, apricots, and strawberries, etc. under zero tariff duty. However, India has kept dairy products, beef, sugar, apples, and iron ore out of duty exemption. In addition, India has kept zero duty on Australian coal. Notably, zero duty on coking coal will give a boost to Indian steel exports. Significantly, coking coal accounts for about 73% of the total coal imports from Australia to India. Under the agreement, the Australian government has also agreed to allow faster approval of Indian drugs. For this purpose, it has agreed to accept Canadian and European Union inspection reports for Indian pharmaceuticals and manufacturing as the basis of approval. It is likely to give a boost to Indian pharmaceutical exports. In addition, the agreement provides for post-study work visa for Indian graduates in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Significantly, India exported goods and services worth about $8.3 billion to Australia in 2020-2021, and Australia exported goods and services worth about $16.75 billion to India. Notably, free trade agreement is an agreement in which two or more countries reduce or eliminate import-export duties with mutual consent. Under FTA, goods and services can be traded between the respective countries with little or no tariff barriers. Basically, FTA liberalizes trade. It also removes protective barriers to industry and manufacturing. Recently, WHO, that is World Health Organization, has launched a new strategy to deal with anti-malarial drug resistance. The strategy has been released during World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. It has been launched to urgently address the problems of anti-malarial drug resistance in Africa. It is an annual global campaign to raise awareness about the growing threat of antibiotic resistance. This new strategy is based on knowledge from past and present global programs. Let us tell you that under this, the threat and impact of anti-malarial drug resistance in Africa will be reduced through 4 pillars. The first pillar is to strengthen the surveillance of anti-malarial drug efficacy and resistance. The second pillar is the diagnosis and therapeutic regulation to limit drug pressure through preemptive measures. The third pillar is to respond to the resistance by limiting the spread of parasites resistant to anti-malarial drugs, while the fourth is to leverage existing tools and encourage the development of new tools against anti-malarial drug resistance. Indeed, some recent reports in Africa indicate increasing parasite resistance to artemisinin, a key ingredient in malarial drug. It has been identified in several countries in Africa. Increasing cases have been seen in African countries like Uganda, Rwanda, and Eritrea. According to WHO, increasing resistance to drugs in parasites is an alarming sign. Such signs may undermine progress made in combating malaria. Let us tell you that malaria is mainly caused by Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium falciparum parasites. It is transmitted to humans through the bite of an infected female Anopheles mosquito. The main compound in the best available drugs for the treatment of malaria is artemisinin. Artemisinin is derived from the extract of sweet wormwood, that is Artemisia annua. Significantly, in the year 2020, about 96% of the cases of malaria infection and death worldwide were from sub-Saharan Africa. Of these, 4 out of every 5 deaths occurred in children under the age of 5. Recently, the World-Class AMR, that is Antimicrobial Resistance Multi-Stakeholder Partnership Platform, was established. Its purpose is to mark the importance of World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. Also, using this platform, the global, national, and regional action plans have to be prepared and implemented. Let us tell you that this platform has been jointly launched by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the United Nations Environment Programme, the World Health Organization, and the World Animal Health Organization. It is worth mentioning that the recommendation to set up this platform to the United Nations Secretary General was made by the Interagency Coordination Group associated with AMR in its report. According to WHO, AMR is a threat to global health and development. WHO has named AMR as one of the top 10 global public health threats. The overuse or misuse of antimicrobials is a major reason for the development of drug-resistant pathogens. This condition occurs when bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other parasites stop reacting positively to the drugs over time. This makes it difficult to treat the infection and increases the severity of the disease. As a result, the patient dies. The silent pandemic was responsible for nearly 5 million deaths in 2019, of which 1.27 million were due to AMR bacteria. In fact, antibiotic resistance is referred to as a silent pandemic. Significantly, World Antimicrobial Awareness Week is an annual global campaign. It has been organized starting from 18 November till 24 November. Its purpose is to make the world aware of the growing problems of AMR. Recently, India abstained from voting on a resolution of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. This resolution was introduced against the resumption of the ivory trade. It has provisions to allow regulated trade in ivory from Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. India abstained from voting against the ivory trade for the first time, as India has opposed the international ivory trade for more than 3 decades. But India's abstention from the voting is being seen as a support for Namibia, as India has imported cheetahs from Namibia for the rehabilitation of cheetahs in its territory. Actually, Namibia and Zimbabwe were allowed to trade in ivory in case of the natural death of elephants in 1999 and 2008. Thereafter, Botswana and South Africa were allowed to trade in ivory in case of the natural death of elephants. Furthermore, these countries were also allowed to sell ivory seized from poachers. Namibia then placed a proposal to regulate the ivory trade. This proposal was rejected at the CITES conference held in COP17 of the year 2016 and COP18 of the year 2019. Subsequently, a similar proposal was presented by Zimbabwe in COP19, but it was also rejected. Namibia and other southern African countries argue in favor of the ivory trade, that the population of elephants in their territory has recovered. Therefore, if the ivory stored in these countries is sold internationally, then it will help encourage elephant conservation and communities conserving elephants. The countries which oppose the ivory trade argue that any sort of ivory supply will increase its demand and it will lead to an increase in the poaching of elephants around the world. Notably, CITES is an international agreement between governments. It aims to ensure that international trade in wild animals and plants does not threaten the survival of species. It was established on 1st July 1975. Significantly, India designed the logo of CITES in 1981. Let us now look at the 5 questions based on the bulletin.
Questions for this series are: first question is, consider the following statements. 1. The collegium of the Supreme Court consists of 5 members. 2. The collegium is mentioned in Article 124 of the Constitution of India. 3. Under Article 142, the judges of the Supreme Court are appointed by the President of India. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, 3 only, or all of the above? Next question is, consider the following statements with reference to CITES, that is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, which was in news recently. 1. It was established on 1st July 1975. 2. India designed its logo in 1976. 3. COP18 Conference of CITES was held in 2019. Which of the above statement or statements is or are incorrect? 1 only, 2 only, 2 and 3 only, or all of the above? Next question is, consider the following statements. 1. The Indian Space Research Organization carried out the Space Capsule Recovery Experiment in January 2017. 2. India will send human beings to space for the first time through Gaganyaan. 3. Gaganyaan will be sent to the Low Earth Orbit or LEO. 4. The integrated main parachute airdrop test is a part of the Gaganyaan mission. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 1, 2 and 3 only, 2, 3 and 4 only, or all of the above? Next question is, consider the following statements. 1. Free trade agreement can be signed between only 2 countries. 2. Under a free trade agreement, goods and services are essentially traded between the respective countries without any tariff barriers. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? Last question is, consider the following statements. 1. Article 324 of the Constitution of India mentions provisions related to the Election Commission of India. 2. The Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners of the Election Commission of India are appointed for 6 years or till the age of 65 years. Which of the above statement or statements is or are incorrect? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2? Recently, Dr. Purnima Devi Burman has been honored with the Champions of the Earth Award. This environmental honor of the United Nations has been conferred to Purnima Devi in the category of entrepreneurial vision. She has been conferred this honor for the transformative action taken to prevent the degradation of the ecosystem. Notably, this award is conferred to appreciate the innovative ways that support the extraordinary potential of nature. Notably, Purnima Devi Burman is an Indian wildlife biologist working in Assam for stork conservation. She is the founder of the organization Hargila Army. This organization is dedicated to saving the stork from extinction. The Hargila Army comprises only women. Recently, Tamil Nadu government declared Arattapatti and Meenakshipuram villages as biodiversity heritage sites. Henceforth, these 2 villages will be known as Arattapatti Biodiversity Heritage Site. In this way, Arattapatti Biodiversity Heritage Site has become the first bioheritage site of Tamil Nadu. Notably, both these villages are located in the Madurai district of Tamil Nadu. The area is surrounded by a series of 7 hills. Arattapatti village is home to around 250 species of birds. It includes important birds of prey like the Lagar falcon, Shaheen falcon, and Bonley eagle. It is also home to wildlife like the Indian pangolin, slender loris, and python. Recently, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi inaugurated the first greenfield airport of Arunachal Pradesh. The name of this airport is Doni Polo Airport. It is located at Holongi, about 15 kilometers away from Itanagar, the capital of Arunachal Pradesh. According to the government, this airport will not only enhance connectivity in the region but also promote the expansion of commerce and tourism, and it will give a boost to the economic and social development of the region. Significantly, Itanagar was the only capital city in India which was not connected by airspace. Recently, the Network Readiness Index 2022 prepared by the US-based non-profit organization Portulance Institute has been released. In this report, India has climbed up 6 places to reach the 61st position. India's total score in the index is 51.19. Notably, India's total score in the index was 49.74 in 2021. According to the index, India has secured the first rank in AI talent concentration, while it has secured the second rank in terms of mobile broadband internet traffic within country, and the third rank in international internet bandwidth, annual investment in telecom services, and domestic market size. Recently, India assumed Council Chair of the GPAI, that is Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. In the selection process of the chairmanship, India received a majority of more than 2/3 of the first preference votes. On the other hand, Canada and the US got less votes than India. Therefore, these two countries have been appointed to the seats on the steering committee of the Council. Notably, GPAI is a group of 25 member countries, including the US, UK, European Union, Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan. India joined the GPAI as a founding member in 2020. It is a first of its kind initiative to develop a better understanding of the challenges and opportunities of artificial intelligence. Recently, Dalai Lama has been honored with the Gandhi Mandela Award 2022. The award was conferred by Himachal Pradesh Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar. Notably, the Gandhi Mandela Foundation confers the Gandhi Mandela Award. It is a registered trust and a non-profit organization. Its headquarters is located in Delhi. Recently, the 4th edition of IPRD, that is Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue, has commenced. It aims to review the opportunities and challenges arising within the Indo-Pacific region. Notably, IPRD is an apex-level international annual conference of the Navy. Recently, the 400th birth anniversary of Ahom commander Lachit Borphukan was celebrated at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi. Various cultural programs were also organized on this occasion. Lachit Borphukan was born on 24th November 1622. He was a general in the Ahom kingdom in the 17th century. He is also called the Shivaji of the Northeast. The performance of Borphukan and the Assamese army is remembered as the Battle of Sarai Ghat. The Lachit Medal is given to the best cadet in the National Defence Academy in his name. He effectively led his army in the Battle of Sarai Ghat in 1671. He had succeeded in foiling the attempt of the Mughal army to capture Assam. Recently, Saudi Arabia eased the visa rules for Indians. According to the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia, Indian citizens will no longer require a police clearance certificate to obtain a Saudi Arabia visa. Saudi Arabia has taken this decision in view of its strong relations and strategic partnership with India. Notably, the police clearance certificate certifies that the person who possesses this certificate has no case registered in the police station for his involvement in any criminal cases like fraud, assault, murder, etc. The 53rd International Film Festival of India was inaugurated recently. Its opening ceremony was held at the Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Indoor Stadium in Panaji, Goa. About 280 best films from 79 countries will be showcased at this festival. 25 feature films and 20 non-feature films from India will be showcased in Indian Panorama, and 183 films will be showcased as a part of the international programming. Notably, the International Film Festival of India was established in 1952. It is an annual festival. It provides a platform for all cinema lovers and creators around the world to showcase their work and talent.